My name's George, and I'm a 79-year-old retired man with a host of limiting physical conditions. I've recently moved from East Texas to live with my daughter and her family. As much as I like being around family, there are several things I miss about my life in East Texas. Mostly, I miss gardening and my flower beds. If you love gardening, but you're getting up in age or you have other physical limitations, you may love this video. Whatever your challenges in life are, this vertical planter may get you outdoors and doing things you love. You don't have to get down on your hands and knees to plant flowers and pull weeds. If you thought this part of your life was over, take a look at my vertical garden and see for yourself. You too may have the flowers and veggies too. This vertical planter is ideal for growing on your patio, deck, or if you have limited space. It's difficult for me to speak for extended periods of time, so I've enlisted Bob to speak for me in this video. Here's Bob.
Thank you, George. It is excellent if you have a deck, patio, or other solid surfaces to place your GreenStalk, but I am placing mine on the black gumbo soil that is in the North Texas area. I started by putting down a weed barrier and placing 24 by 24 inch concrete pavers. I used wooden shims to level the pavers. I can't overemphasize the importance of making sure that your GreenStalk sits on a level. If your GreenStalk leans in one direction, it could affect the amount of water you get in each pocket. This could lead to overwatering or underwatering some of your plants. Information about GreenStalk and its people and a complimentary package of seeds are included in your box. There are two different bases that you may order to go with your planters. One is a base with wheels, which is handy if you have a patio or deck where you will put your planter. The base with wheels is called the mover. The other base is called the spinner, and you can turn the planter to give equal sunlight to each side. In my video today, I'll be using the spinner base. There are two versions of the tiers available. The one on your right is the original tier and the pockets are 10 inches deep. The tier on your left is the leaf and the pockets are 7 inches deep. You can mix or match the two different models. More about this later. Each GreenStalk planter comes complete with a water reservoir for the top and a water distribution disc that goes between each tier. Pay attention to the small holes in the water distribution disc. It is imperative to keep them open so that each pocket gets an equal amount of water. This is the top water reservoir. Inside the water reservoir are marks to fill the water level to which will be the correct amount of water for the number of tiers on your GreenStalk planter. All parts of the GreenStalks are guaranteed not to crack or fade for 5 years even if you use them outside year-round. Start by placing our spinning base on a firm level surface followed by the first tier. The configuration that I am using is 3 original 10-inch tiers and 3 leaf 7-inch tiers. There are 6 pockets per tier. It may take a bit longer to fill the tiers one scoop at a time, but I can't pick up the heavy bags to pour them into the tiers. It is recommended by GreenStalk to fill each tier to the top. The potting mix will settle when first watered. Use a good quality potting mix. This is needed for proper drainage. At this lowest tier, I am planting tomatoes and bush beans. It was recommended to plant the larger growing plants on the lowest tiers. I have a GreenStalk plant support that will be added to the planter at a later date. It will be in my next edition. Some of the varieties of tomatoes may grow too large for the planter. If this is the case, I'll move them to one of our other containers. It is recommended to use determinate tomato varieties as they are generally smaller plants. I fill each tier with plants before putting on the next empty tier. This minimizes the amount of heavy lifting needed. I fashioned a cup made of aluminum foil to place over the water hole in the center of the tier in order to keep the potting mix from falling into the gray watering disc on the tier below. It is important to keep dirt, etc. out of the gray watering disc so it does not plug the small holes. The configuration that I am using for this tower is 3 original 10-inch pockets and 3 of the leaf that has 7-inch pockets. I found it a little difficult to get the tier to stay in place before filling it with potting mix. But after adding the weight of the potting mix, it was no problem. What makes GreenStalk truly unique is its accessibility for the elderly or people with limited physical limitations. With its tiered design, gardeners can easily reach all of their plants without much bending or kneeling. I'm new at this type of gardening, so my plant selection is somewhat of an experiment to see what will do well, especially in the hot Texas summer months. If you have experience with the GreenStalk and have had success with certain plants, let me know in the comments section below. Another advantage of the GreenStalk planter is that traditional gardens can take up a lot of space. This can be problematic for those living in apartments or with limited outdoor space. GreenStalk's vertical design allows you to grow a variety of plants in a small footprint, making it perfect for balconies, patios, or decks. It can be placed close to your living quarters, making it very accessible. No expensive shovels, turning forks, hoes, rakes, or tillers are needed for growing plants in the GreenStalk planter. The only tools I used as I installed this GreenStalk were my pocket knife to open the bags of potting mix and a level. I'll be doing monthly updates to show how well the planter is progressing. Be sure to subscribe and hit the like button so you will be informed of upcoming videos. Thanks. In case you would like to know, my dog's name is Shelby. She's wonderful. This is not a project that has to be completed in one day. It can be spread out over several days if needed to fit your physical abilities. Take the time to enjoy the project without overdoing it. I bought large bags of potting soil. That was the only thing I needed help with when unloading and moving the bags to the garden area. Thankfully, my 2 grandsons came to the rescue. Next time I'll consider buying smaller bags of potting mix. If you have reach limitations or you don't want to lift water cans as high as a 6-tier planter, you can stop at any height. You could order an extra base and water reservoir to make a second planter. GreenStalk recommends that you use a good quality potting mix for your planter. Potting mix comes in different size bags and each manufacturer uses a different measurement per bag. Some use quarts, some use gallons, and others may use cubic feet. Here is a little math to help you out when planning your planter. Each original tier holds 1 cubic foot of potting mix, about 8 gallons or 32 quarts. Each leaf tier holds 3/4 cubic feet of potting mix, about 6 gallons or 24 quarts. Garden soil is not recommended for use in the planter. It will not drain properly. Tiers 5 and 6 are filled with strawberries. I bought plants from a neighborhood nursery and they came with blooms and immature strawberries. One variety is Summer Breeze Snow and the top tier has Simmer Breeze Rose. All I can say is that in the cool weather that we are having now, they look great. Just for reference, this adventure is in the month of March. When watering your new planter for the first time, you may need to fill the reservoir more than once to get good saturation in all pockets of the planter. Even at that, I watered each pocket individually to assure that all the potting mix was moist. I'll come out daily and water the pocket that has seeds until they have sprouted and well on their way to becoming plants. One of my daughter's subscribers recommended that we put a 5-gallon paint strainer over the water reservoir to keep debris out. Great idea. Sorry, I don't know the subscriber's name, but thanks. This strawberry has already put out a runner and is just developing roots. I'll give it a few more days and move it to another container. We tried using these plastic plant tags but the rub-off was not acceptable. I even ordered Sharpie Extreme and it did not hold up. We switched to tongue depressors and they worked just fine.
If you or someone you know has been wanting to garden but you've been limited by physical disabilities or lack of space, GreenStalk vertical gardening may be the solution you've been looking for. With its accessible design, watering system, and versatile plant options, GreenStalk makes gardening a manageable and enjoyable task. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting out, GreenStalk is the perfect solution for those who want to enjoy the benefits of gardening without the physical strain. I'll see you in a few days for a surprise update. Subscribe so you'll be informed when each video is ready. You'll find a link to GreenStalk and the other products that I used during the video in the description area below.